Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's Wednesday, so this is Waffle on a Wednesday, where I answer your questions to the best of my ability. And for those of you that are new here, my name's Mel and I live full-time in this Mercedes Sprinter camper van, and occasionally I like to go treasure hunting, so if that's something that interests you, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. Right, let's get on with this week's Waffle on a Wednesday. Now, once again, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that brought stickers off me this week. Now, there has been a bit of a delay with me getting these stickers to you, and some people have actually messaged me and said they haven't received their stickers just yet. Please be patient, your stickers are definitely on their way. There was just a slight delay in production because I actually run out of stickers, so thank you to everyone once again that brought stickers off me. I really do appreciate your kindness, your generosity, and most of all your support. Thank you. Now, whilst on the subject of saying thank you, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. Last week I hit 30,000 subscribers. That is amazing, and I'm just blown away by that. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever get to that point where I've got 30,000 subscribers. That's incredible. So once again, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so I've got some great questions to answer this week, so let's crack on and take a look at some of those questions. Now, here's a reoccurring and rather interesting question that I sometimes get asked, and so I thought I'd address this today. And this question was left on my Ring 12 volt DC to DC MPT solar charge controller video that I made. And like I say, this question does come up quite often, but Stuart puts it in a rather good way. Hi Mel, bought this unit after watching your video, really happy with it. One question though, if I have electric hookup and a mains charger, how do I stop the solar being the main charge? I've swapped settings to solar priority off, but the source is still solar, not mains. Any advice welcomes. Cheers, Stu. Well, Stuart, when you start charging your leisure batteries via mains hookup, then the Ring DC to DC charge controller should sense that higher voltage. It will mimic your batteries being fully charged. Therefore, the Ring DC to DC solar MPPT charge controller will sense that higher voltage and pretty much shut down. It will stop sending a charging current to your batteries because your mains charge controller is simulating that your batteries are fully charged. Does that make sense? Basically, yes, it's okay to charge your leisure batteries whilst the Ring DC to DC MPP charge controller is connected to your batteries. There's no need to do anything, there's no need to change any of the settings. I personally have done it on many occasions throughout the winter months, and I do think that the same principle applies to any solar charge controller you have installed in any of your vans out there. I think you'll find they're perfectly safe to charge your leisure batteries using mains hookup, even though you've got a solar array connected up to those leisure batteries as well. I do hope that makes sense and hasn't confused you even more, Stuart, but thanks for the great question, really appreciate it. And if you have a Ring DC to DC MPP charge controller, I urge you to watch this video that I made about how to set it up properly. A lot of people set them up wrong, but this video will hopefully put you right. Hi Mel, where can I purchase one of those folding tabletops? Couldn't find one on your link page. Many thanks. And it comes from Serena Coles. Well, Sarah, the reason why you cannot find this folding tabletop in my Amazon storefront, although you will find just about everything else in my Amazon storefront that I use in my van, including all my camera equipment, my metal detecting equipment, pretty much everything I use in my van you will find in my Amazon storefront except this folding table. I do really apologise, because this folding table came from my old 1973 Volkswagen Westfalia. It's a fantastic table. When I sold my old Volkswagen, the owner forgot to take the table, so I put it in storage just in case they did happen to come back for it. 10 years later they still didn't come back for it, so I decided to use it in my Mercedes Sprinter camper van. And I've got to say, it is absolutely fantastic. But if you do want to get hold of one of these tables, simply search on eBay for VW Westfalia folding table. You never know your luck, you may find one. Good luck with your search. Now here's a question that a lot of you may find interesting, especially if you have a camper van, an RV or a motorhome and you're using a fridge freezer and you're running it off of solar. I shall read the question. Hi Mel, I have just purchased a 12-volt fridge freezer Apricol CR65. I have two 115 amp hour batteries and a 150 solar panel. In the day no problem, but by morning I have a low voltage code on it. I would have thought my batteries would have easily powered the fridge through the night. Any ideas please? And that comes from Mark. Well Mark, here's the thing. Your solar panel is 150 watts. Therefore, if it's laying flat on the roof of your van, which I assume it is, you'll probably find that you're only getting about half of the wattage of that solar panel coming through to your charge controller. If you have a look, I can guarantee even on a really sunny day you're probably only getting 75 to 90 watts coming through. I very much doubt if you're getting the full 150 watts. Therefore, during the day it is more than capable of running your fridge. But here's the downside, because if it's a hot day the fridge will be running more, the solar panels won't be charging your batteries as much as they should, because the fridge is actually taking the power from your solar panel and your batteries throughout the day. So come evening time you may find that your batteries aren't fully charged. That's why in the morning when you wake up you're getting that low voltage error code. So I would suggest that before you go to bed at night, check the state of charge of your batteries. Make sure that they are fully charged, and if they're not, then there's your problem. You just need to add more solar, or try and fit the solar panel on the roof of your van so you can tilt it towards the sun. Because the truth of the matter is, because your solar panels are flat on the roof of your van, they're not as efficient as they would be if they were tilted facing the sun. And even then, in my experience, if you've got a 150 watt solar panel and it is tilted towards the sun, and unless it's a really clear sunny day, you will not get 150 watts from that solar panel. It's very difficult to draw all that power from your panels, and I speak from experience. So I'd like to ask the audience, you guys, what your experiences are with solar panels laying flat on the roof of your van. What percentage of power do you get from your solar panels? I'd be really interested to know. Please do leave a comment below in the comment section of this video, and if you've got any advice to offer Mark, then please do. I'm sure he will appreciate it. Just one other thing to bear in mind, Mark, if your batteries are fully charged when you go to bed at night and they're very low in the morning, maybe the chances are you need new batteries, I'm sorry to say. But like I say, before going out and buying new batteries for your van, I would definitely consider getting more solar. Good luck Mark, and I really do hope that answers your question. Here's a question from Andy FV1. You do seem to have quite a few mechanical issues with your Merc. Do you wish you brought something else? Well Andy, I've got to be honest with you, when I brought this van, Mary, I did buy it salvage. I brought it from a salvage yard. If I hadn't have brought this van, the chances are she would have ended up in a breaker's yard. So I kind of knew or expected to spend a little bit of money putting her right. But saying that, I didn't expect to have as many problems as I have had of late. And Andy left that comment on my last video when I had to change the radiator in Mary. And a lot of people ask me where the radiator was leaking from. Well, if you imagine my mobile phone is a radiator, down each side of a modern radiator they have plastic end caps, so to speak. So you have a plastic end cap on each end, and they are affixed to the radiator by little tabs that curl over. Well, those tabs over time become weak because of heat, and eventually they give way and the radiator leaks down that sill. And I've had this happen to me before. So it was actually leaking from the O sill that goes all the way around the end, and it joins the plastic bit to the aluminium part. And I've experienced this in the past. I've actually tried to repair radiators when they've done this, to no avail. It is, yeah, you may as well just change the radiator. And a lot of people said to me, why didn't you just put Radweld in the radiator? Well, if this was an old banger, I would have done exactly that. I would have just gone out and got some bars leak or something and put that in the radiator. But because I want my Sprinter to be 100% mechanically sound, that's why I chose to change the radiator. And I was quite pleasantly surprised as well by the cost of the radiator. It was only 150 quid. I was expecting to pay a lot more than that. But saying that, if I'd known it was going to be that much trouble to change the radiator, I probably would have just gone out and tried some bars leak or something similar, or something of a similar nature. It was an absolute nightmare changing the radiator on this van. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it up here. But to get back and answer your question, would I buy another Sprinter? I probably would actually. I do like the Mercedes Sprinter. They're extremely comfortable and effortless to drive when they're going right. But the next van I buy, I will definitely make sure that I check it properly, and I buy a van with as low mileage as possible and with as much service history as possible. I think that's probably where I went wrong with this Sprinter. I had no service history at all, had no idea what it had been through. I think that was probably the mistake I made, and I would say that to anyone out there that's thinking about buying any vehicle, whether it be a van or a car, a motorbike or an RV or a motorhome. Make sure you check the service history. That way you know what you're letting yourself in for. Could you do the live thing on a Friday and call it Faff on a Friday, and that comes from IFL3? I may just do that. Thanks for the great suggestion. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this week's Waffle on a Wednesday. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now.